my question here is, how quickly will I see results?
Content is a long play. It is not a short win. I think, one of the things that we really try to do is we use content strategy and social posts and blogging as a leading type of tool before some of this digital lead generation that we're talking about. So, if we think about like what's the order of things and where should you start, I typically recommend starting with content, developing a cadence, and then moving into a digital lead generation strategy. But, I think you can see results earlier on a content strategy as early as a month, in that when you are posting more actively and intentionally with the type of content that you're driving, you can begin to see results within that first month. And then if you decide to layer in paid, that supercharges those kinds of efforts as well. With the digital lead generation strategy, it takes more time simply because you have to build more infrastructure. So, you're building landing pages, you're building pieces of in-depth content like white papers, which takes a little bit of time. With some of our clients, we are typically starting to see results on that more in like the 3 to 6 month range. So it's just a little bit more of an investment of time, investment of dollars, and an investment in strategy.
Yeah, and I think so much of that, like with all marketing strategies, really depends on the product or service we're trying to sell, the strength of the brand and the network like already in place, and the price of the product too, right? So we use the example of the tech maintenance program for large scale hospital systems, like their buying horizon it's just different than a client of ours that's a government entity that was looking to recruit volunteers, and within 2 weeks we were able to get a couple hundred. So it sort of depends, and I think those are the types of questions that we encourage kind of companies and ourselves to be just really honest about up front around what's realistic.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point there. What is the metric you're trying to drive? So I would argue, on our side, on the marketing end, we're trying to really drive qualified contacts for our sales teams when we're talking about digital lead generation. And that can be done relatively quickly. The end result, closing a sale, really depends, on your sales cycle. And while this will support the sales cycle, it doesn't really condense the sales cycle. The goal is that it makes the percentage of sales that you close higher, because it's a more efficient, effective methodology.